phone at? Oh yeah. So people, yeah. For the people who are saying like Cuhmunity and back on Figg, um, so here's the thing, right? We should probably also think about what the format of these things are, right? Are and y'all tell me, I could be wrong on this. Like I'm just openly speaking. Me doing this now, this is not a podcast. This is not a podcast. This is a live stream. And a live stream is more of like, I try to do it in more of a comedic sense where it's more like improv. But a live stream to me is just not a podcast traditionally. Now, could it be seen as one? If I wasn't in contract with Spotify, re-uploads of probably this stream would be a podcast officially, like, under the brand. Number one, it can be. But number two, I don't see it like that. And, shit, me and my attorneys, we have delegated that this is not a podcast. So what I'm doing here is not a podcast. This is a live stream. And that's when I ask you guys, what Cuhmunity does and what Back on Figg does, do you compare it necessarily to the Joe Budden podcast, $1 million worth of game, Drink Champs, right? And the sorts like that, even Math Hoffa's thing? Or do you say it's a live stream that is regurgitated in podcast format? Still give it the credit. Right? Still give it the credit because, like, I don't know who shut it. I don't know if y'all know when I started on Spotify, there was a podcast that was putting up the Twitch streams, or someone who was managing a podcast that was putting up the Twitch streams. Like these Twitch streams, they were putting up the podcast of it. I'm pretty sure Spotify saw it. I don't know if they shut it down or the person just stopped. I'm pretty sure they would have shut it down. Like legally, they have the right to shut it down. It wasn't me putting it up, obviously. But I remember I looked on Apple one time and the show was top 10. I'm like, oh shit, I'm not even uploading some shit. And this is a stream not intended to be a podcast, but it's top 10, right? So again, I guess like when I'm asking about like podcasts, I'm asking what format do you see things in? Or here's the bigger discussion. Do these formats even matter anymore? Is any conversation really just a podcast? Whether it's an interview, whether it's an actual traditional podcast format, whether it's a live stream, whether it's a reaction. Is everything podcast? That's a good question that, we should probably get to, because I don't view what I do here as a podcast. First of all, if I view what I did here as a podcast, I would say nobody fucks with me, period. But none of these niggas really do live streams, and I don't think nobody fucks with me on live stream, period. But I respect podcasting in its origin format, and maybe that's just me be on some traditional shit. But when I look at Cuhmunity, I look at it as a dope live stream that has playback in podcast format. And it shows how popular the live stream is when people do play back a lot in podcast format. But I don't compare Cuhmunity to Joe Budden podcast. I don't compare Back on Figg to Joe Budden podcast. And I do like both platforms. It's just that I look at Joe Budden platform just like I look at Off the Record. I'm like, Off the Record, I got to come different than I do here, right? I hope you guys understand that. That's not hating. That's just me being honest. Okay.